Let me show you my recent purchase. It's a 1988 Ford Thunderbird 2.3 liter Turbo Coupe. It's in mint condition, as you can clearly tell. Judging by the inspection sticker, it was good all the way up till 2004 in New Brunswick, which is where I live. And if you take a look at the license plate tags, well, it says 99, but I know there's some paperwork somewhere that I have that says 2003. But either way, it's been sitting for 19, 20 years, somewhere around there. As you can tell, it's pretty dirty. It is kind of in rough shape. On the way here, the gas tank fell out. That actually is just the bottom case protector. The straps were so rusted that when I hit a bump, it just kind of fell. Luckily, it didn't actually completely disappear. It held on to the frame of the trailer. Now the gas tank is not actually like under there. I have it moved somewhere else because it still had maybe half a tank of gas. And I'm honestly using it in my little lawnmowers and stuff like that. The gas tank is also extremely rusted inside and has a hole, so it is leaking fuel. So I will definitely be switching that out. Not even sure if the electricals work in it. And I can tell somebody was in it because some of the wiring that's under there is kind of weird and broken. It does still have its original snowflake rims or wheels, and I have the center cap inside the car here. Now let's just start with the trunk. I got 3 beautiful keys with an actual Thunderbird keychain, which is kind of cool. I gotta fiddle with this and see which one it is. There we go. So, got plenty of parts. This is a lot of the intake, the original turbo and manifold. And I think the intercooler is down there too. In here I have just a bunch of lights, wires, and connections and all kinds of stuff. I think the original stereo's in here. Yeah, it's right here. I don't know why, but I like to actually keep these. It's just kind of cool. And it's a tape deck. Maybe I'll get it working. But that's a much later project. Someone even had an amp back here. That'll be coming out. Onto the inside. Well, as you can tell, I kind of stuffed it with all kinds of little loose parts, extra parts that they gave me from some of the work that they themselves did. But I'm going to clean up the driver's seat and see if I can get that to sit properly, so that way I can show you a little bit of the interior, at least from the driver's seat. But the door is pretty much all there. I know it's missing the handle that usually goes here, and for some reason this stuff here is so sticky, it's crazy. It does need a little bit of work. Hopefully it's just cosmetic and a little bit of cleaning, but we'll see. I know this stuff is not, yeah, I think it's just cosmetic. I think it's just the paint's coming off. But most of the rocker is okay. It does have some broken spots and just general rust. Yeah, there's probably the worst part. You can see some of that lip has disappeared. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a part that wasn't, yeah, it's kind of just, you know, crunchy and broken. One thing that did happen when I was transporting it is, because it's so rusty, that right there, if it shows up, is part of the suspension. It's called, I think it's called the torque box, but I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me, I don't really know. And that kind of just broke off, and well, I gotta fix that. All right, let's take a look at the engine bay. So yeah, clearly somebody took all of this off. I still have all those parts, which is great, because that front nose piece is kind of the pièce de résistance for this car. Now they had an intercooler in there, and they took that because it's worth more than the car probably at this point anyway. So we got a nice yellow jacket as an engine. No, just kidding. It's just to prevent some water from coming in, or at least slow it down. So that's the 2.3 liter turbo. Now, this stuff here and a lot of the plumbing that's in there is not original. I mean, even some of these sockets, they'll have to be changed. That's just rotted out and broken. Well, just falling apart in my hands now. Same with this side. Got a good plastic battery holder box. It seems for the most part that everything is there. I don't think that there's anything, you know, crazy missing or crazy done to it. They did take out the wipers and all that. The motor is also out, but I do have that. Here's the relay module control thing. The AC is actually still in here, but the piping is all kind of torn apart. This is some aftermarket turbo. I'm not even sure what it is or what the size is or what any of the details are, but some water got in there. I did check to see if it spins freely, and it does. It doesn't seem to be crunchy or grinding or anything. What my plan is to do is to kind of get this back to stock and make sure that this is running and healthy engine. I'm told that it's been rebuilt, but I can't confirm that. No paperwork, no nothing. But like I said, I just want to make sure that the engine is turning over, that it starts and even runs. If we can get it to idle, I think that would be great. I don't know what I'm going to achieve today, so we'll see what happens. So that's pretty much it. 20 years sitting. Who knows what's going to happen? Just so people understand, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a body man. I have not been working on cars or anything mechanical for any extended period of time. I do this as a hobby. I do this just for fun. And I've never done something like this before, so maybe it's just a bucket list thing. I will see what happens, and you'll come along and see what mistakes I make and what success I have. So we'll go from there. All right, I went ahead and cleaned up the driver's seat, so it looks pretty good now. Just found out this was built in 0488. Some evidence of the previous amp. You can even see here the power cable and then the audio. It doesn't smell bad at all, I can tell you that much, even with all this stuff in here. I think the previous owner moved it around every so often, so there weren't that many mice that got in here. But there have been some. You can tell that there's some evidence. Now, I put up this little shield here just to kind of try and protect the interior. Not sure if it's really going to work. But either way, it is a 5-speed manual. It does quite well. It's a little rough, but it's not too loose. Like, this to me is kind of normal, at least from all the stuff that I've driven, which is never anything new. And it's fun to have manual. That's when you know how to drive. Somebody's been in here. You can tell that the stuff's been taken out. It just fell underneath. All the electrical seems to work. Everything is there, minus the radio, because that's in the trunk. The original clock, I don't know if it works, but we'll find out when I pop the battery in. Gauge cluster with 274,000 kilometers, just over. Dimmer switches. The clutch pedal does seem to stick. I'm not sure if it's just because it's dirty or if it's just something else. I'll have to take a look at that at some point once I get to rolling it, but as you saw previously, I won't be able to roll anytime soon because of that torque box or whatever it's called. I'm also not sure why these are always popped up when I see them. I see them a lot in videos, but I think people just pry on them to try and pop out the horn. Still got the visors, which is great. They both have mirrors. I'm not sure why the driver should have a mirror, but anyway. I think the headliner was replaced, but because it was sitting for so long, it's got all these little splotches of, I don't know if you want to call that mold or whatever, but it's dry in here, at least for now. Lots of spare parts, if I didn't mention that already. Different colors, but I'll have to sort through that at some point. All right, I think that's pretty much it for the interior. I mean, it's got your typical wear. I'm hoping if finances are good eventually, maybe I'll just recover these, at least maybe get some extra foam in here. All right, let me set up the tripod and let's get working on cleaning this up, getting some stuff out, maybe putting stuff back in its original place and go from there. Definitely want to take out all this new turbo stuff and put in the original stuff. All right, let's start by taking off a lot of this piping. Oh, great. I like how they put those in the wrong place so you can easily access them. That's good. Well, at least I had a ratchet socket that size, so that's good. Uh-oh, not spinning. Well, I guess that's one way to take it apart. Just take the screw out. Let's see, is that gonna wiggle out? Maybe I should remove this one too. And this clamp clearly slipped. Make sure there's nothing connected. There we go. Well, I lost that. Yeah. This just looks like exhaust piping. Alright, let's see, will this slide out? And there's the other piece. Now, oh, got a K&N air breather filter. That's what it looks like. Alright, had to put the bug net on. Those mosquitoes just seem to be loving me, and I don't like them. Seems like I'm gonna have to take quite a bit apart just to be able to get some of this stuff off. Not sure exactly what's going on. Let's see if I can take the exhaust off. Still won't pop off. Okay, hopefully I got it now. Yup. Well, now the bracket doesn't want to come off. There we go. Put that in a safe place so that I'll forget it, because that's usually what happens. And then there's the oxygen sensor. Yes. All right. Got the exhaust off, at least a custom exhaust, 3-inch exhaust. Man, I had to wrestle that out. That was ridiculous. Anyway, got the oxygen sensor still on there. I'm gonna leave it on there for now so that way I don't lose it, or hopefully don't lose it. All right, so I could feel like I was doing something. I managed to take the bolts out for the AC compressor. Put that aside. I tried taking the actual compressor off just to get it out of the way, but it's jammed in there. I don't know. And then I have to take a bunch of stuff off here. Anyway, my brain is having a hard time wrapping itself around trying to take this exhaust off. Manifold, I should say, and then the turbo. So I'm going to ponder on that for a little while. And what I'll do is I'll actually just go ahead and take this, the throttle body and the intake, I guess throttle body also. I don't know. I don't know what the names are. And just see what happens from there. Maybe my brain will figure something out. Funny enough, I guess I should have checked to see if this engine turns over. I'm pretty sure it does. But let's just give it a try anyway. Oh, yeah. I have no idea if I'm going the right way, but it's not loosening anything. Let's just go the other way. Woo. You can hear the compression. Oh, yeah, there's some compression. There we go. I think I did a full rotation there. Maybe some rough spots, but I don't know if I mentioned it, but I think somebody said they rebuilt the engine or something like that, but I personally don't know. I keep forgetting about PB Blaster. It is a good tool, if you want to call it that. Well, I don't know if you can see, but there's a piece of duct tape in there. That would have been nice if it got loose and into the engine. Perfect. I also just ended up pulling the studs out because that's what was loose. The nuts are pretty good and stuck on there. But I didn't mention it. The The intake and the throttle are all from a Mustang, I believe, but I don't know how they perform, so that's why I'm just going back to stock. I just want to get it back to a base level that I can tell if there's a difference, or you know, figure out what might be the issue if there is any. All right, throttle cable out of the way. Well, that was easy. What about this guy here? And I think this is a vacuum hose because it looks like it goes to some kind of collector there. There we go. Alright, I took all the bolts out. Hopefully that's all I need to do. Don't know. Ah, there we go. It feels like there's still something attached. Oh, pulling out the oil dipstick tube there. Oh, there's a hose here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Got that hose done. Well, surprisingly clean, but I did break the gasket. Pop some rags in there so that way nothing goes in there. All right, with a little bit of struggling, or a lot, got the blow-off valve loose here. Oh, what a pain. There we go. Let me just put that back together so I don't lose anything. It's a Teal Sport, T-I-A-L Sport, made in USA. I have no idea if this is good or not, or if it's a good product. It definitely needs some cleaning. All right, I went ahead and removed this. This is loose now, and I'll just gotta take one bolt out. But man, this was a pain in the butt. And I know for sure that the previous person who worked on here had also that same issue, because that bolt, the bolt that's hidden right here, I say hidden because it's hard to see, is actually really hard to get to and hard to tighten. I also noticed that this thing is frozen solid, so there's no way there would be anything that would actuate there. All right, stud came with that one. There's a bunch of washers, and that should be it. And here it is. It's pretty dirty on the inside, but the bearing does seem kind of nice. It does spin freely. It says that it's a Borg Warner IHI. There's some numbers on here, but there's no way I'm going to be able to tell what that is. Made in USA in Shelbyville, I think that's Illinois. This will most likely need a rebuild anyway to clean it up. But I got it off, so that's really good. I'm happy about that. And last bolt for the exhaust. And hopefully that just pops off. Looks like it will. Yes. It looks nicely made. Stainless steel, I believe. Certainly not that much rust on it. It says it's made by Excess Power. Proven performance parts. Well, I couldn't stand it anymore, so I took the time to remove the air conditioning canister, but I ended up breaking one of the bolts. Such is life. Now am I going to be able to slide it out? There's so much stuff in the way. Can I rotate it? Maybe not. And as per usual, there's always some kind of problem. Like a wire. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Or not. I don't know. Oh, man. Anyway, everything needs to come out anyway. You son of a gun. Thing's jammed up anyway. Doesn't really matter. Well, unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to call it there. Here's just a recap of what we took off. if I can remember the names. So I took the header off, the turbo with the exhaust. I took off the throttle body, and I believe this is called the plenum. I think that's what that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. Here's the wastegate, and here's all the piping that was already in there. I won't be using that anytime soon, but you never know. I got to remember to take the oxygen sensor off, and here's a blow-off valve, and then here's the AC compressor. It's pretty much seized. There's no way I can spin that. I can spin the clutch, but I can't spin the pump. And I also took the bracket off, and the the accumulator. And this is currently what the engine bay looks like. It's looking a little bit nicer. There's still some work that needs to be done. I've noticed underneath here a bunch of little hoses that seem to be going nowhere, so I'm wondering what's going on. I will have to look into getting a manual. And here are all the original parts that were in it before. I pretty much have everything there. I think I just need to get the gaskets. And while you weren't looking, I took out all the audio stuff that was in there. It was kind of becoming a tripping hazard because it was near the door, the entryway. So guys, unfortunately, like I said, this is it for this video. I need to get a bunch of gaskets. I need to also get the batteries, see if it turns over. And I may look into getting the shop manual just because, well, I really don't know what I'm doing. It's kind of a big project. It's going to be a long haul type of project. I don't think that this is going to be something that I'm going to finish in a short period, like a few months. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot of body work that needs to be done. I'll show you all that stuff as I go through it. But right now I just kind of want to make sure that the engine is running well. I mean, I guess at the same time what this will show is that, you know, you can pretty much do it with minimum tools. I mean, that's my tool kit right there. Most of my sockets and wrenches are all stuck in that bin. And like I said, I know pretty much nothing about all this stuff, and I'll be learning it as I go along, and hopefully everything turns out. Who knows? Before I forget, if you guys have any suggestions on working on this vehicle and any resources that are available, by all means, please send them to me. I could definitely use them, and I would be very grateful for that. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit, maybe too much, so I'm going to leave it there. I'm Paul. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.